Hey guys, so for your Futures Top tip this morning, I want to talk to you about a guy called Mere Grant. Now, I'm going to tell you a short story. It's 1937, and Mere Grant is a Polish Jew, and he's concerned about the way things are developing, and he wants to get his family to safety before the conflict and the war kicks off. So he puts them all on a train and he spends 3 years trekking across Eastern Europe trying to get safe. And awful things happen throughout this story. There's a moment when they're on a train and 2 of his children get taken. Can you imagine that? The gravity of what I've just said. 2 of his children get taken, sent off to Auschwitz. But their journey continues and they continue to try and escape this conflict. Eventually it all comes to a head. The family get put on a train along with many other people and sent by the Germans into Russia and left. They get left in the end of the line. It's a woodland, it's a forest somewhere. It's minus 40 degrees. I want you to picture this scene. They've been thrown off a train. It can be as low as minus 40 degrees temperature. There's snow on the ground and they're in a woodland. And they've been left to die. This isn't Robin Hood. This isn't some exciting band of merry men. This is real life. They've been left to die. They struggle for food. Mia's sister dies because she's eating poisonous mushrooms because she's so hungry. She's desperate. She takes a risk and she dies. He lost other siblings to exposure. His dad died. Each time, of course, he has to bury them in this woodland with his bare hands, digging a hole, burying his family. They were there for 4 years. 4 years in this wood, trying to survive. I don't think any of us can tune into the horror of what I've just described, how unbelievable that story is. But it's a story of survival because they did survive. Mere Grant went on to have children. One of those children he named Avram after his dad. And you may have heard of Avram Grant because Avram Grant went on to manage Portsmouth football team, West Ham, Chelsea. He was a big Premiership football manager. And that's why I'm telling you this morning, because what a leap from one to the other. 1 minute we're describing a boy living in a forest who's seeing his dad bury his siblings with his bare hands. We're talking about the horrors that young boy's experiencing. But that young boy moves beyond them and has a life he could never have imagined, where his son goes on to be a multi-million-pound football manager. If you went to that boy who was on his knees, and he will have been on his knees, if you went to that boy on his knees in the forest and said, one day this will be over and you won't be here and you'll have a life of prosperity beyond anything you can imagine. That would be too much to imagine, wouldn't it? From the forest to Premiership football. Unimaginable. And yet that's the journey that happened. And I want us to tune into that this morning, that we are going through difficult times right now. For some of us, those times are mildly difficult. For some of us, these are hugely difficult. Some people are experiencing all levels of personal tragedy right now. But what I want you to know is that it will pass. What we are in will pass. There will be a future beyond this. And like we've seen from the story of Avram Grant, we can't rule out anything in that future ahead. All possibilities are on the table for that future ahead. And we need to keep sight of that. Keep sight of that future. Okay. I hope that was of use, and I'll talk to you again next week.